Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas GK. Viewers, this possibly is the wildest tech controversy you've heard about. And no, it's not your regular gadget glitch or software fail. It's Elon Musk's latest AI chatbot called Grok. And it's gone completely rogue in India. The IT ministry has taken note and we'll delve into the politics around Grok. But let's start with the brass tacks. Grok is an AI chatbot that has been cooked up by Musk's company XAI. Grok is supposed to be witty and edgy and a little bit sassy as well. But it looks like Grok just took a crash course in Indian street slang and it's not holding back. How did it all start? Well, one ex-user, clearly curious, asked Grok something pretty simple. But instead of a friendly response, Grok's response included slang and insults. Now, netizens couldn't believe their ears, or rather their screens. So the Indian government had to intervene. The IT ministry is in touch with social media platform X over the recent incident of AI chatbot Grok using Hindi slang and abuses and will be examining the issue. According to sources, the ministry is going to look into the matter and factors that led to the use of abusive language. But this action of the IT ministry has triggered politics. Opposition parties are saying and accusing the government of going after an AI chatbot and cracking down on dissent.
I find this rather hilarious. After all, Grok is only an AI tool, and I don't know why the government of India and the ministry is taking this so seriously. But I really don't think this is an issue which should be of concern.
BJP is terrified. I think their WhatsApp propaganda has been busted, trying to control artificial intelligence. So many issues are out there, but the government wants to find out how Grok gets its answers.
सोशल मीडिया पे पहले ही सरकार द्वारा अपना शिकंजा कसा जा चुका है। कैसे जो विरोध में उठ रही आवाज़ें उनको दबाया जाता है, कैसे विरोध में उठ रही जो पोस्टें हैं उनकी रीच को कम किया जाता है, और अब एआई के पे जो प्रतिबंध या उनसे सफाई मांगी जा रही।
It is very clear that obviously the Grok AI model is not fully accurate. It is giving inaccurate responses to prompts that have been put to it. If you train the AI model or build in biases and algorithms that are faulty, the AI model will give an output that is incorrect or inaccurate or inconsistent.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
For more on this, we have a panel joining us. Tushar Gupta is a political analyst. We have Pavan Dugal, cyber security expert, with us. Dr. Suban C. Raman is a political analyst, as is Professor Manojit Mandal joining us. Let me start with you first. Suban C. Raman, the government says, all right, let's start with Professor Mandal. Professor Mandal, the government says that it is only trying to, crack down on abusive language and inaccurate responses which have been coming out of the AI model of Grok. And that's why they haven't issued a notice. They're just trying to find out if the law has been violated. Your response to that, Professor Mandal?
Sir, how long does it take to understand that this is an inaccurate AI developed by one of the friends of Mr. Narendra Modi, Elon Musk, right? So he should take it up with the highest authority in X if this is faulty. And if this is not faulty and is deliberate on the part of the government to crack down some kind of a dissent coming from the opposition, then it must be taken seriously. Which has been done for a long period of time. The government is regulating, the responses on X handles and other social media platforms, WhatsApp chats. This is being done by the government. So the suspicion is quite reasonable if the government is having the suspicion that this is a ploy from the government to crack down on the dissent, right? So I think government has to take it up with the highest authority. Nick Sandel, who is the friend of Narendra Modi, is coming to India, Mr. Elon Musk, to do his business. So let him fix the issue as soon as possible. If this is a faulty kind of algorithm, as the minister was suggesting, the algorithm is faulty. This is not a properly developed AI. So it's in the market in the first place. It should be withdrawn, and Elon Musk should take note of that.
All right. Tushar Gupta, it's AI that is faulty. It is revealing wrong results, abusive, and in fact, it's a friend of the Prime Minister, says Professor Monojit Mandal, and that's perhaps why this kind of pressure is being built upon Grok and X platform. Your response to that, Tushar?
Good evening, Madhav. You know, it's rather sad state of affairs that people are now turning to an AI program to seek validation by confirming their biases or having it issue apologies to them. You know, it's really sad. It brings me back to the era of 2000s when a study from Japan came out that the youth there was now sort of not interacting with humans in colleges or schools, but rather interacting with artificial dolls. I think that is where some people on social media are headed, and it's rather disturbing. Look, Grok is nothing, but it only does what we used to do as a Google search, just that Grok can do it in milliseconds. For us, it used to take minutes. For some, it used to take hours, of course. It just gathers data from several thousand web pages, compresses them into an answer, and presents it before you. Grok has no brain of its own. It has no opinion of its own. It has no botheration of whether someone is on the right side or on the left side. Grok doesn't care about all this. All it cares about as an AI program is to scan as many pages as it can and to bring information before the user. Now, because there are already thousands or rather millions and millions of pages of content on the web, there can be a bias. Let's say there are 10 million pages, just for example, for the argument. There are 8 million pages that support the Congress. There are 2 million pages that support the BJP. There would be a bias in their answer, but that bias is not coming from Grok. That bias exists because the content that has been published in volume and in circulation, that has a bias of its own.
Okay.
If you pick up something from a, yeah.
Okay, I think that's a reasonable argument. Let me bring in Suvansi Raman on that. Suvansi Raman, it's the bias stems from what is available online. The Grok platform on its own doesn't have a bias, but is this charge of abusive language, etc., that is being made, is that something that can be taken lightly in your view?
Look, first of all, I think I sort of tend to agree with Manojit that since Elon Musk is looking to do business in India and he's a friend of the Prime Minister and he's also a friend of Donald Trump, who's a friend of the Prime Minister. So I think it shouldn't be too difficult to resolve this issue by having a conversation with Elon Musk. And by the way, Mr. Musk's company has sued, I'm sure you're aware, in a court in Karnataka, the authority of the state on some of the issues related to the censorship part. So I think that it's going to be very interesting to see which way this plays out, because as we know, I don't think the government is going to take on Grok.
Isn't that a contradiction, Suvansi Raman? That's the point I'm making. If they are so friendly, then why are they busy suing each other?
No, they are not busy suing each other. But Musk is not going to take anything, lying down here. And it's very clear he has the backing of the US president at the moment. Therefore, it will have to be, all this noise and, smoke and fire that the Indian government can breathe, I don't think it will do anything dare to do anything on Grok. So I think that this is just much ado about nothing. I think over the last 1 week, the ruling party and the right-wing ecosystem in India has been extremely upset because what the media anchors should have been calling out is at least being called out by the AI engine. If not, because the media is not doing its job, at least the AI engine is doing some part of it.
Okay, great. AI engine, very easy to blame media, of course, sitting on a high pedestal there. But Pawan Dugal, your answer to that, because, this is not the first time. There are concerns that are being expressed. There was, in, I believe, 2019, a platform of Microsoft, which had similarly had problems about how it could be programmed and led to a lot of racist, a lot of abusive posts. So there is a precedent to this. Are the concerns in this particular case of Grok valid? Or is this being seen as some kind of attempt at curbing dissent, as some of our panelists have shared? How do you look at it?
First and foremost, let's understand the basic premise. Garbage in, garbage out. If you are going to train your models on some big data sets that are bound to have slangs, expletives, then logically so, the program is going to dish out the same kind of stuff. Now,
Had it been in any other country, it would have been a different issue altogether. But in a country like India, these kinds of things are bound to hurt the sensibilities of people at large. In any case, the law wants the AI algorithms to work in a manner that does not offend the sensibilities of people or violate the law for the time being in force. The beauty is, India still does not have any dedicated law on artificial intelligence. The beauty is that the Information Technology Act 2000 and rules and regulations made thereunder do not directly apply to AI because AI doesn't get mentioned there. The beauty is that the government of India has still not given the specific norms of due diligence of which are required to be fulfilled by AI developers or AI programmers or even AI service providers. In this context, this entire case has once again brought forward the need for having in place appropriate legal guardrails. Now, these are two separate things. The Grok issue is a separate thing. What they have sued in Karnataka is a separate thing. Well, since the matter is sub judice, we'll not talk about the merits of that case. But the fundamental issue is, in the lawsuit, what's being questioned is that the government wants to bypass the blocking power and resort to directions under Section 79 of the IT Act for removing or disabling content without even realizing that a clear reading of Section 79 of the IT Act would clearly show that the government has been given that special power to direct disablement or removal of any kind of a content, which is completely different from the power of blocking. The power of blocking under Section 69A of the IT Act can only be exercised in certain limited circumstances, whether it's in the interest of sovereignty, security, integrity of India, friendly relations with other nations, public order, decency, morality. But in the context of this Section 79, the important issue is if service providers like X want to have the statutory exemption from legal liability, they are duty bound to ensure compliance with the directives of the court. They've gone to court. They can actually challenge governmental action, but ultimately, while the matter will be sub judice, the law will continue to be what it is till such time.
Absolutely. And let me take that question back to Dr. Subansi Raman. Yeah, that's a very valid point. Yeah, when he's talking about Section 79, this is what they've said in their petition. This is X's petition, the Karnataka High Court. They say the government's use of IT Act Sahyog portal creates unlawful, unregulated mechanism of censorship bypassing statutory safeguards. The big question, though, is that this is the law of the land. Can X, claim that it will get some special exemption which applies to all platforms, not just to X?
No. See, they are going to court and articulating their point of view. The court can reject it, the court can accept it. Why are we denying? Why should they be denied the right to go to court? They have all the right to go to court and make their point of view. Look, at the end of the day, this is a simple thing. These are two different entities. X is the platform. Grok is the AI LLM model that is actually running through X because it is owned by the same company. Now, the point really is that, first of all, equating the two is itself going to be a challenge. Because for all practical purposes, there is nothing to prevent somebody from going to, say, ChatGPT or going to any of the others, Claude or anyone else, and asking the same question. It's just that Grok is inside the X platform that people prefer to go there and ask Grok the question. Right? So, again, it opens up a larger Pandora's box. It's not just a question of, regulating Grok or regulating X. And X itself is a distinct entity from Grok. Grok, for instance, is offered as an independent service, independent of X as well.
Let me bring in Tushar on one more aspect of this. And Tushar, you would have seen the comments coming in from Congress party. They say the excuse of language is just a shield. Government is trying to use, or the BJP is the last one who should be making excuses about language, considering the language on social media. It's revealing very ugly, uncomfortable truths about BJP empty promises, etc., which makes the right-wing ecosystem extremely nervous. And that's why X has been summoned, or the government is now engaging with them. How do you respond to this charge coming in from the Congress party?
Madhav, again, Congress doesn't understand how Grok works. Perhaps Congress's Supriya Shrinate is confusing Grok for a real entity who's going to vote for them in the 2029 elections, because the humans, at least in India, are not interested in voting for that party. Again, Grok doesn't have a brain of its own. It's just manually getting web pages. You give it a prompt. with a bias against Rahul Gandhi, it will write against Rahul Gandhi. You give it a prompt saying Rahul Gandhi is a youth icon, it will give you an essay saying why Rahul Gandhi is a youth icon. It's not the testament to truth or what is false. It's just an AI program which will give you what you want, and it's dependent on the person asking the question. I just don't understand why there is hue and cry. If the BJP wants to hide anything, there are 10 different ways for Grok to write stuff where the BJP comes out looking better than Rahul Gandhi. Doesn't make Grok the official, arbiter on BJP versus the Congress, right?
Okay.
People have to understand these are just based on prompts. Grok doesn't have an opinion of its own. Grok is not a voter, for God's sake.
Right, absolutely. And in fact, Professor Mandal, this is what Elon Musk himself has said. He has said that Grok 3 is scary smart. Doesn't this, the very fact that the founder or the owner of this company is actually saying, owner rather, not founder, is saying that this is something that is a matter of serious concern, when he himself says it is scary smart, quote unquote. Doesn't it, build the case for regulation?
If it is scary smart, then why, it's very difficult, Madhav. And as the esteemed lawyer on this panel was saying, it's extremely difficult to chase almost an interminable mirage, right? Like he's rightly pointed out, there is no mention of AI, ChatGPT, and then there are thousands of such softwares and apps are being developed every other day, every other night. It will be extremely difficult to regulate them. So either you take it seriously to ban all the contents, like for example, if you think about the objectionable content on X, there are so many pornographic materials which are propping up without any regulation. You can understand this, why those things are not being regulated. If these abuses are being regulated by the government, the first thing they should do that they should regulate their pornographic contents which are being, I think, regularly popping up. So I think there is a problem in this the whole issue. This is very difficult. I understand it is extremely difficult. Right. Why is government is becoming selective only to choose this kind of thing?
Okay. I want to bring in Pawan on that.
Then the opposition
yes, Pawan Dugal, is this a selective approach at regulation? Because he says that if there is pornography which has been banned by the courts of this land and it's available on that platform, why was there no crackdown on that earlier, and why only a crackdown on it now, or an attempt to regulate it, however one chooses to put it? Pawan Dugal.
Well, the reality is no other incident has come of any other artificial intelligence algorithm who has used explicitives or slangs. Now, because this kind of an episode has come in, therefore it's got the attention of the government. As regarding pornography, well, pornography is one of the biggest problems that the internet is facing. And also, let's face it, more than half of the total content online is pornographic. And Indian law does not really make it an offense for you to watch pornography. It's only when you publish or transmit or cause to be published or transmitted in the electronic form pornographic content do you commit offenses under section 67, 67A and 67B of the IT Act. Therefore, I don't think it's just a case of selective stuff. This kind of episode has come in. Now that an AI algorithm is going and using explicits and galis, then clearly it's a matter of concern, because it could potentially be seen to be polluting the innocent minds of Indian users. And the government is entitled to go ahead and take action. Here, it's not even action. It's just as an asking them, hey guys, would you want to explain this to us? Well, it's more a question of trying to understand their viewpoint before coming in. Because please realize, if the government wanted to come in, they could have come in with distinctive rules on AI. They have not chosen to come in. Even the advisory of 1st of March 2024 and 15th of March 2024 of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is just a mere advisory, requesting them, please ensure compliance with the law. Please ensure your particular AI program does not disseminate fake information or does not contravene the law of the land. So the government has never yet been in the space that I want to come and regulation. But now the time has come where at least effective legal guardrails need to be stipulated. And the government is well within its powers. Under Section 87 of the IT Act, the central government can come up with rules and regulations of what kind of legal guardrails need to be instituted as part of the development process of AI programs by AI coders and AI companies before they start offering their AI services.
Okay.
This is nothing
let me quickly bring in Tushar.
Union is saying in the EU AI Act.
Yeah. Let me quickly bring in Tushar on one more point. You know, Grok itself, when it's asked about who spreads the maximum amount of fake news, the name that pops up and the answer that pops up is of Elon Musk. So when Grok very clearly has those kinds of standards, you know, is it really fair to say that, you know, it's totally unregulated, or it's, you know, something that is specific in India's context, it doesn't understand India's diversity, so on and so forth?
Grok is not meant to understand India's diversity. It's just meant to scan pages which have information on India. Now, it's a very good point you raised, Madhav, that he answers Elon Musk, he or she or whatever his pronouns are. It is because ahead of the US elections last year, there were so many pages which were aligned with the Democrats that were attacking Elon Musk for fake news. Remember how Elon Musk was campaigning for Donald Trump, how Elon Musk took a stance against wokeism? And all these web pages, blogs, commentators, they were attacking Elon Musk for fake news. And they're pretty high in volume. Let's be honest about it. And that is where Grok is picking up that answer. It's that simple. The volume of the pages will dictate the bias on the internet of these LLM programs in the future. Now, it's up to the users giving the prompt what they want to deduct from it. If a user wants to take the opinion of Grok as the gospel reality, the holy grail, well, they are foolish. It has nothing to do with the AI platform. It's more to do with the foolishness of the user, or in this case, the Congress party.
Okay. Suman Siraman, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I think this whole issue of trying to regulate AI without quite understanding, the background to it and looking at the implications are very, very fraught with a lot of risk. You see, India is a country that potentially stands to gain enormously by the use of AI. And that is across different verticals. And it's going to become a part of daily life, in a matter of a few years. So I think that it's very, very important that government help this process. And generally, the way in India government can help anything is by not doing anything to stop it. So I think that is something that government would be well advised to do, so that the benefits of, look, every single new technology is a double-edged weapon. And we need to understand that whether the benefits outweigh the risks.
Okay.
Because Grok comes up with something that the ruling party does not like.
Quick closing comment from Pawan Dugal on that. Pawan Dugal, is regulation going to spoil this, or is it going to, or is it something that is actually going to improve it? The question, or the point being made by Suman Siraman is that if the government intervenes, tries to regulate, you'll be ending up trying to fix something that's not really broken. If I've understood his argument correctly.
I don't really think so. Right now, AI represents the wild, wild west. Now, the wild, wild west cannot continue infinitely. It will require some kind of regulation. That's why we have models in the European Union in the form of EU AI Act. You have models of China in the form of their rules on generative AI. The time has come for countries like India to start putting in legal guardrails. The time has come to start regulating the misuse of AI. We're not saying go ahead and jump right into the frying pan and stop this particular technology. Sorry, this technology is not going to be stopped. But if you are going to put in adequate legal guardrails now and minimally go ahead and regulate the misuse of AI for criminal, illegal or other vested purposes, that could be a good starting point, because very quickly realize that OpenAI is already now developing its super intelligence as part of the super intelligence alignment project, which should be around the corner in the next year and a half. This super intelligence will supersede the cumulative intelligence of humanity as a whole. And at that point of time, you want to wake up and say, hey guys, let's start putting in now. It's a bit too late. So the time to act is right now, so that at least we allow the robustness of the technology to continue, while also ensuring that the technology is or not violating human rights and human values.
All right. Pawan Dugal, Tushar Gupta, Dr. Suman Siraman, Professor Monijit Mandal, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on what's very clearly an interesting debate, and certainly a debate that we're going to be hearing a lot more of in coming days.